Welcome back to the Quad Matrix Q&A. On today's episode, we're going to answer the question, how do I predictably and efficiently get the driver tip to properly engage with the splitting wings of the quad wedge? And to answer that, first I'll demonstrate on the other side of the mouth here how to insert a quad wedge. Some key features here, some quick tips, is that you can see that on the quad wedges, one arm is longer than the other. And so when I go to place these, I'll place that longer arm against the tooth, one of the teeth, and then I'll push the wedge in that direction, and then I'll kind of close the tips, and then you can just glide it right into position. And so again, take that long arm and engage it and push it against the tooth, and that'll close the splits, and then just pop it right into position like so. Now, how do we get the driver tip to consistently engage with the quad wedge? And what I've discovered is that on the maxillary, it can be kind of difficult to see around corners to really ensure that the driver tip is actually in proper alignment. And so, in other words, like, it's kind of hard to see upside down to make sure that you have this, the driver tip in between those wings. And what I found is that all you have to do, you don't have to stretch the ring out that far. All you really need to do is get your handle side down and then line up that driver tip right in the middle of the embrasure space of those two teeth. So I don't even have it open that far. And all you're going to do is line it up in that embrasure space and then kind of just let the driver tip engage. And you can see how when I did that, the driver tip found the splitting wings of that wedge. And so I'm looking at it more from a down point and lining up that arrow right in the embrasure here, because that's where the quad wedge is splitting, and then just letting the driver tip engage from the top down rather than from the side. Now, in some cases, especially when you have like tight embrasures, these wedges may not want to split very much. And so if we just go to this other side really quick, I'll just show you. And you may notice that after you put it in here in the tight embrasure spaces, that you weren't able to split the wings, but instead the wedge looked a little something like this when you got done. And here's my advice, is that if you look in this area and you look down and your matrix bands are sealed and everything looks good, go for it. You can continue on, because sometimes it's the situation driving you and telling you that something's different. And so you can kind of listen to what the wedge tells you. But if it splits open like this, just drop it from the occlusal surface down. And again, you don't have to stretch your neck or bend your back in weird ways. Just kind of like get that wedge right, or get that driver tip right in the embrasure space, and it'll find its way down in there, and then just let everything engage.